I am Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live number 105. Today we're going to talk about mix singing, becoming a better singer with mix singing. And I want to welcome you. Let me just make sure that you're getting in good volume and good video. So as soon as you can, two chooks. Hi, it's nice to have you here with us. With me today, and I'm just getting this situated so I can see all of my comments as well. So, hi. So today we're going to talk a bit about mix, and it's a complete mystery. At least it used to be to me, and it took me years for me to really figure out what does it sound like, what does it feel like, what am I supposed to, what's the internal feedback that I get when I'm singing it and so forth. So it's, at least it was for me. Now it might be very easy for you guys. So I'd be very interested in hearing your comments today. So as soon as you can, give me a heads up as far as as far as how we sound and if you can see me and hear me okay. Today we are I want to, let me see here, what am I doing here? Yeah, so we've got about a couple minutes. This is the preliminary show. So in about 2 or 3 minutes we'll start the actual show. And let me just check here. It says the stream is good. Okay. And the health of the stream is good. It looks like you can hear me, and from everything I can see, you can see me too. So, and I hope that this thing is set to public. I believe it is. So, in the United States, we're having an election day today, and so the post office is closed. All the federal offices are closed down. I think banks are closed, and so it's almost like a vacation day. But I think the banks are closed. Maybe they're not. Anyway, for all you U.S. folks, be sure to get out there and vote today. And for those of you who are outside of the country, you don't have to go vote. You can wait until your own voting is up. Okay, so let me just say hello to anybody that's joined us. Hey, Mike, I'm here. Sound good looking. Okay, great. And Jorge Ernesto says, Ernesto Avila, hi. Hi, Jorge. Nice to have you here, too. Okay. So it is top of the hour, so let's begin this officially. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live. This is live version, this is live episode number 105. And today we're going to talk about becoming a better singer with mix singing. So what is mix? What does it sound like? Where do you mix? Okay, so I'm a little bit too close to the microphone. Thanks for the feedback, Mike. And I'll back off a little bit here so that we don't get the distortion. And I think that I want to make sure that the sound doesn't distort because it's coming through my camera instead of this little thing right here. Huh. Okay, I'm going to change the sound real quick here. I'm going to do a quick edit. So hold tight. Because I don't think my sound is coming through the right place. Let me just see here. Okay, now. Sorry about that, you guys. You should be able to hear me better. Mike, what gave me the clue here was the feedback on the microphone. Because if the sound is coming through this ATR 2100, I think it is, usually the sound doesn't spike like that. So let me just, I'm really curious. We'll do a little experiment right now if that is better. Okay. Thank you, Mike. You saved this episode. I had one whole episode several of them ago where somehow the mic got switched. It picked up the mic lead from the camera itself, which is a Logitech 920, which is great camera, but the audio is not is marginal at best. But this is a great little microphone, and I much prefer it when I'm listening. And so thank you. You saved us. Okay, now let's talk a bit about mix here. I've spent quite a bit of time on this. Let me just know what you think. So I'll ask you a question. Does it ever feel like you are singing too? Yeah, I'm going to make this even simpler. How many of you feel like you really have a good handle on what mix is? Yes or no? What is mix voice? And maybe secondary to that is, do you know what it feels like in your voice? Give me a yes or no. Do you know what mix feels like to you? Because, thanks, Marty. Good, thank you. And hello, Marty. Nice to have you here again. So, Marty, it's going to be 29 degrees this week. I always have to do a weather check with my Canadian connection here. So it feels like it's going to be winter. I'm sure 29 is like high for you guys. Marnik says no, she doesn't. She's not sure, or he's not sure. No, I don't have it. So mix can be something that is really. I remember listening to my lessons, my tapes of my lessons. I remember listening to my voice when I sang. I remember listening to what my teacher was saying to me about, no, it fell out, and I thought he was meaning it fell out of my mix, and trying to fix it and not really knowing how to fix it and all those things. Anyway, I just felt like it's very, very challenging for me personally. So let's talk a bit about it. First of all, Marty says the winter arrived here in Calgary. What? Blizzard outside. Oh my goodness. Dry. Now my voice sounds strained and dry. Marty, I feel for you. The dryness in the West is awful on the voice, isn't it? But a blizzard, huh? Well, good luck up there. We don't have that here right now. It's blue sky, but it is cooling off this week. Some Canadian air is coming down our way. Okay, so let's talk about what does mix feel like, you guys and gals, because how can you sing in a mix if you don't know what it feels like? Let's start with a little bit of a definition. What is mix? A mix is a blend of at least two things, right? You can't mix one thing together with itself. It's not a mix. So you have to have two parts, at least, to combine in order to mix something. So if you're mixing a cake, you have to have at least flour and water. If you only have water, what do you mix? You can stir the water, but you can't mix anything. So in terms of singing, mix is a combination of the chest voice and the head voice. Chest being down here, and head voice being up here. So we, at some point, need to mix those. Now, I can't mix them here, can I? So what does it mean to actually mix them? How do you mix the sound? Well, as the pitch goes higher, It's the same thing for the ladies, but I'm going to demonstrate it here with in the men's octaves. Ah. So as we go higher, ah. Now we can feel that something is adjusting, something's changing. Literally, what happens is the vibrations in the body begin to go up, and I think, in my opinion, they're looking for a smaller space to vibrate in because the sound waves are getting fast. They are getting faster as the pitch ascends. Now, that's probably not scientifically accurate. Somebody out there can correct me. But regardless of exactly why, I do know that the vibration starts to move up. And so as it's going up, I can begin to feel the loss of vibration here. So as it's going up higher, the vibration begins to be in head. The vibrations begin to vibrate in my up above the roof of my mouth and up in my nasal cavities and ear cavities, and any place there's a place that can vibrate, and it vibrates sympathetically. I mean, the vocal cords aren't up there causing the vibration, but it's just the sound wave is affecting the tissue walls and it'll vibrate all around. And so as it gets up and begins vibrating in the head, that's my head voice. So now I haven't completely let go of chest, and so now I've got both chest vibration and head vibration. So if I can allow those two things to come together, now I've got a mix of those two, or a blend of chest and head. And so, now I'm not going to mix for a minute. I'm just going to pull up the chest. That's pulled up chest. Or if I break, now I'm in falsetto, so I have no chest voice. Yeah, which it's not very useful. So, so in order for me to mix, I've got to maintain the chest and the head both at the same time. That's the challenge, isn't it? So if I said, there's not much of a mix there either, because I've just gone into my head voice. So today we'll just define the mix as occurring in the bridge. There's argument both ways that mixes everywhere. But to make this a little simpler to get, I think it's more simple to focus on the bridge first, mixing in the bridge. And so if I said, so for the guys, for the tenors and the baritones, it starts at the E, F, F sharp. And many of the basses, E, F, F sharp. For the ladies, A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, you're pretty much all the way through. So what's supposed to happen there, we have to have that, there's kind of two vibrations. We have to live with two vibrations at the same time, the chest and the head vibration, and we have to allow that to occur. So how do I get it? So I guess the second question is, how do we start to do that? How do we actually do mix? In a large degree, it's controlled by the vowel. So if I open the vowel wider, I'm not mixing. The vowel is spreading horizontally and it's going wide, and that causes the larynx to come up, and it causes the vibration to kind of get locked into one zone, the zone down here below the roof of my mouth. So from here down, it's just kind of locked in there. So I'm not, by virtue of that wide vowel, that spread or splatty vowel, I'm not allowing mix to occur. Some other things are happening. I'm getting extrinsic, all the muscles that have nothing to do with the vocal tone get engaged too, and so now they're getting tight and squeezed, and the combination of those things prevent mix. So the tension does not help mix. The wide vowel does not help mix. And so I want to keep the vowel from changing. So to keep it from changing, I actually narrow it a little bit. Instead of AH, it starts to, at first, when you're learning this, it's helpful to just do it. To So if you said instead of just by doing that and not panicking, not grabbing or squeezing or suddenly getting real tense or allowing the larynx to hike up by this tension or squeezing or yelling. If I stay away from those things and allow that vowel to stay pure and not spread, because you hear the UH if you listen carefully, but it comes out, it sounds like I'm saying but it's narrowed slightly so that it sounds like I'm saying AH. So that's the way I say But if I don't do that, now the vowel is completely gone. It's, the word doesn't even sound like anymore. Now that is how you sing mix. Ladies, exactly the same thing, except you start at middle C. Now, the principle of this is if everything is working as it should, and that the vibration is shifting up into the head, and we're maintaining both the chest and the head vibration at the same time, the AH, just kind of naturally goes to UH. You don't really have to manipulate it. But this is an illustration today. You can try it at home, and to do it quickly, just do the UH. Now, let's just stop it there for a second. Let me grab a couple comments here. Marty's in a blizzard. Gino, hi Gino, nice to have you here. I have a major suggestion. If I put myself on vocal rest for a year, do you think it'd be better? I'll have to get back to you on that. Greetings, sir. I was wondering if there's any technique to sing with Russian. Okay, so no comments yet about mix. All right, now, so let's go to this one then. Here's another way to identify this feeling of mix. If I go right to the middle of my bridge and did a very narrow vowel, no, 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 no. It's closed. You can even see it closed on my lips. No, 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 no. Now that's pretty much giving me a mix. No, 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 with a bias a little bit towards head. It's quite a heady vowel, but it's getting me there it's allowing me to be in the bridge without pulling chest. Now what happens if I said, no, 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 no? If I go to a more open vowel, but I leave the more open vowel, in the same feeling or the same, imagine I'm singing in a long metal pipe. No, 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 no. And that pipe is, as long as you want it to be. 20 feet long. No, 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 no. If I sing no, 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 I've got to put that no in the same, I have to keep it in the pipe, right? This is my own visual. One of my students gave it to me, and I thought it was pretty good. If I said no 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 no, if I said no no no, I've not kept it in the same pipe. It's outside the pipe now. So if this is the pipe and I sing no, but it's like this, it's, you know, I've got to close that down to fit it in the pipe. It's just a visual, you guys. I'm trying to. It's hard to communicate the feeling of this. I don't really have words for it, so I can demonstrate it. No 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 no, and I can show you wrong. No 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 no. That's what it sounds like. That's what it looks like, and it feels the same. So if the pipe image helps, you've got to keep it in the same groove, the same pocket, the same pipe, whatever you want to think. No, 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 no. That no, the feeling of no, is the feeling of mix. For me. No, 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 no. Now, it takes practice. At first, you're probably going to be doing it like this. No, 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 no. It's hard to lean in to give it some volume at first, and so you've got to be able to be. So the way you practice this to start building the feeling, building your ability to stay in mix, is this exercise. No, 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 no. Now, you may not be able to do it that loud or that strong. So you might have to start out by no, 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 no. That's okay. Eventually, you want to get to where you can begin to increase the volume, but leave it in that narrow place. No, 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 no. Did you hear that got a little bit louder? No, 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 no. Now, if I did it wrong, no, 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 no. It's going to crack, or it's going to, you can hear it spread, splat, kind of hit you in the side of the head. So, no, 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 no. How do you leave it there? Well, here's what I think of. I think of leave my lips on oo, no, 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 and in the back of the roof of my tongue, it just barely adjusts for the no. No, 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 no. It tends to flatten just slightly, no to no. Another way of putting it, which is what Cesare said in the book Voice of the Mind, just think the difference. No, 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 no. But if you open up too much, no, 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 you're out. It's just falling. It's just that vibration. If you've got the two vibrations, the head vibration and the chest vibration going at the same time, and if I said, no, 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 now the vibration has come down it's fallen down into my mouth. No, 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 no. You can hear that it just dropped down into my mouth now. And so I've lost mix. I don't have two vibrations going, I just have one, the chest. No, 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 no. Now that's the feeling. As you start to identify that, you can tell the difference between those two, the right and the wrong way. No, 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 no. You can start to kind of lean on it a little bit more. Leaning on it meaning you can increase the loudness without it falling down into your mouth, without losing that mix. No, 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 no. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, and this is for the guys. Now, I'll have to show the girls in a minute. if I said, if I go to the E flat, technically speaking, that's no longer in the bridge. That's the half step below the bridge. But keep trying it. No, 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 no. Bring mix down. No, 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 no. Don't let it go in the chest. No, 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 no. So I'm bringing that mix voice. I'm bringing it down. I'm overlapping the mix down where chest normally would be. Normally I would say no, 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 no. But now I'm pulling the mix down with me. No, 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 no. And as I lean into that a little bit, it's harder because I'm in chest and it just wants to default to chest. But if I resist that, keep it in that same groove, same pocket, same pipe, whatever you want to say. No, 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 no. I can start to feel the feeling of that mix. So then I say, well, how fast can I find that feeling? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Notice I'm not saying no, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. If you lose it, go back to it. No, 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 and relocate it, re-experience it, find it anew. No, 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 no. Now the wonderful, beautiful, fantastic thing about mix is that it's the same coordination all the way up into your head voice. So once you hit the G, guys, leave it the same way. Don't change anything. No, 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 no. And guess what? Your head voice is there, and you're not pulling. You're in head voice. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Now, ladies, this is where you start. And so I can't do really, I don't want to do chest right below your bridge there because that's pulled up for me. Exactly the same thing, except you start here. No, 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 notice I'm not saying no, 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 no. I'm not letting it open. I'm doing the same thing that we do in the guy's bridge, and that's your first bridge: A, B flat, B, C, and for the guys, the tenors and baritones, that's their second bridge. So they should be able to get up in there and do that eventually, just like they do in their first bridge. And that's the fantastic thing, you guys, is that once you get it down in your first bridge, then once that's solid, you're just going to be able to take that same coordination and go into your second, and then go into your third bridge. For the guys, that's about it for us. I mean, we're not going to be spending much time in our third bridge, hardly ever. It's way up there for us. But for the girls, you need, many of you will need the third bridge if you want to sing any classical, or if you want to get up to where I think Aretha Franklin, I think it was that her, or was it? There was another singer that would go to the A above, start A into the beginning of the third bridge. She was an R&B singer. Can't remember if it was Aretha. Anyway, so I think it was Aretha Franklin that did that. And that's as high as she ever went, but she didn't need to go any higher. And it was into her third bridge. But if you've got that, then you imagine you can sing anything that Aretha sang. So, okay, let me get back here and make a couple comments, or get a couple comments. Greetings, guys. Okay. Love that. Mike says, awesome. How do you position the tongue on mix? Yeah, it's the same. I don't change the position of the tongue on mix versus chest. No, 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 no. No, no, no. No, 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 no. No, no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. It's pretty much the same. I don't really feel much difference. Okay. Akshay, hey, hi. Like your candle there. Marty says, Chuck, the gee nays are way easier to transition to mix than the nose. Okay. I find getting into mix very hard with the nose. All right, so that's a good tip for all of us. It's probably, you'll probably find that it's different for all of us, okay? Now, the reason why I like no is because new just puts you in very heady position. It's pretty hard to pull chest with new. You can still pull chest with no, but it's hard to pull chest with new. New, 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 new. Unless you said new, 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 no, 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 no. But you can tell that it's distorted. No, 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 no. It'd be really strict with the ooh. Now, and so that's why I like going new to no, because I'm already in mix. So I don't have to worry. I can just go to the next vowel and work on keeping that one in that place. But Marty's suggestion is, let me see, what did he say? The gigo or the nays are way easier. Okay, so if you that's a good suggestion, Marty. Let me say gee 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 go 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 gee 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 go 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 gee gee gee. You could try it even this way. Goo 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 go 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 go. Goo 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 go 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 go. Or Marty's suggestion, gee 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 go 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 go. Now I have to add a little bit of dopey sound there myself personally today at least. Going down into where chest normally is, gee 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 go 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 go. Now if I said gee 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 go 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 go, but notice I'm not saying gee 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 go go go. That's a fast way to determine that you're not in mix. You've dropped into your mouth. The vibrations drop into your mouth, and it changes the larynx. It changes the vocal cords, and it becomes just chest coordination. Gee 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 go 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 go. So you have to stay in that same pipe that we talked about. Gee 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 go 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 gee 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 go go go. That's different. That's more open, and it's pulled up. Okay, thanks, Marty, for that tip. Okay, so lean in is where I lose it. Yeah. So it takes some time. So maybe the best way to describe the leaning is just to think about increasing the volume. And if you lose it increasing the volume, check yourself. Are you changing your mouth? Is something adjusting in the back of the tongue? Don't make your adjustment from one vowel to the next so marked. Make it more of a thought to the vowel. No, 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 no. As soon as I open my mouth, it's really hard to keep it there. Now, eventually, you can do that after a few years. But at first, don't change anything in the front. No, no. Sorry. No, 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 no,
or goo 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 goo, or gee 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 go 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 go, gee 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 go 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 go. Okay, and so by lean, what do I mean by leaning? I think what I really mean is increasing the volume while you keep the same feeling going. That is, you don't let it shift into the mouth, drop down into the mouth. You keep that everything the same except the loudness. So if I said no 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 no, but if that's leaning. I'm leaning into it. Now if I do no 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 no, I've just gone into chest voice. So I'm just pulling up chest now. I'm not leaning on, so I'm leaning on the narrow, I'm leaning on to that narrow feeling, the more closed feeling. No, 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 no. At first, it's hard to do that. But in time, you learn to lean more firmly on that narrower feeling. No. And it kind of picks up something else. It gives you a little bit of a, well, all the vocal cord is participating in it. And it takes a little while to get to that, but I'm getting deep enough in the chord structure that now it starts sounding really chesty. And yet I'm staying in that narrow place. That's the magic of the mix. Sounds like a video title or a course title. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. But in all cases, I'm not letting it go into chest. No, 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 no. Or, risking cracking or going in the falsetto. I'm leaning the sound, the volume on top of that more narrow place while I say the more open vowel. No, 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 no. But if I say no, 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 I've lost it. I'm no longer leaning. I'm just pulling chest. I hope, Jorge, that at least the demonstration, hopefully you can hear the difference. I need every hour. Hitoyu. Hi, Hitoyu. I need every hour. Me too. Waffles for days. I'm still struggling. Hi, Waffles for days. I'm still struggling getting my mix and vocal bridge. Being a flip falsetto really sucks. Yes, you guys. Now, this is more, obviously this is what we're talking about today is more advanced. If I'm still struggling getting my larynx to stay down, if I said, ah, if the larynx comes up, it's going to crack. Ah, if the larynx goes up, it's going to crack. So you may have to go, you may not be in a situation where you can actually do this yet. But this is your future. So you're going to have to do it a little bit dopey. Gee, 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 gee. And you might be a little hootier than you want to be. I find the hootie sound is a little bit easier with the gee, gee, gee. Gee, 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 gee. Or the goo, 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 goo. Goo, goo. But if the larynx comes up, goo, 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 or it squeezes or it gets too tight, it's not going to work. So keep after those basic, keep doing the basic exercises for keeping the larynx down, and it'll eventually come. Actually, it says the highest I go in my chest is D4. As soon as I push above it, it gets more louder and it hurts my throat. But then I go into an F4, so I try to directly at F4. I can't. Yeah, it's this darn larynx coming up. If the resonance if the larynx starts coming up, the larynx starts making everything wrong. Let me see. So Akshay, I would say do this on a very narrow vowel. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Or if you're going to do it on no, 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 no. But doing it odd is advanced. I couldn't do that for a long time because what would happen is I would grab it. And it would crack. Antiti toivola. Nice. I have found a nice mixed sound when I am training. But how to use that sound in songs? This is tricky because the manners I've used to. Yeah. This is really a challenge. I had a lesson last week with a gentleman in Paris, and a gifted singer, a gifted voice, and who really found mix quickly. But we got to singing, and because we're used to singing it a certain way with a certain feeling, it's just easy to sing it in chest. And because he's such a good singer, he could sing it in chest, and it sounded pretty good. Except that eventually wears his voice out, right? Or it will, if it's done in chest. So the trick is to narrow the vowels. And so you've got to look at each vowel at first and try and close that vowel down to keep you in the mix. What does that mean? That means if I'm singing night, 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 night. If I said night, it's so easy to pull. I go wide. I've got to sing it like I'm singing UH. Na 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 night. Now I put the ite right on the end, and nobody would know I'm saying nut. Na 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 nut. Nut. Na 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 night. All of a sudden, ite changes in nut into night. So you've got to narrow the vowels so that you can keep your voice. It helps to keep the vibration in the right place. The vibration will drop down into your mouth if the vowel goes wide. And so what do you get? You get chest. And so it's a challenge because you've got all these different vowels and consonant combinations and pitches and so forth while you're in the song. So another way of doing it is just find your mix. No, 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 or no, 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 or gee, 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 and then put it into the song. Gee, 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 gee. So down my chest now. Gee, 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 gee. So that's what you have to do. You have to just do it so that and I would pick different songs. I'd pick songs you don't know because that way it's a little bit harder to revert back to the habit of the song you're used to singing. Emmanuel, hi Emmanuel, nice to have you here. Akshay, every time I do sing D4 and then shout to go up, yeah. So yeah, if you have to shout, pretty much you're in a mix. You don't have to shout. Okay, thanks for the concept. You're welcome, Jorge. I hope it helps. Mike says, thanks. I'll lean into more tomorrow. Waffles for days. What happens if you do these exercises in falsetto? You build your falsetto, which I don't teach. And so this isn't about falsetto. If you do it in falsetto or you do it in pulled chest, you just build pulled chest or you build falsetto. You do not build mix. So you don't want to do it in pulled chest. You don't want to do it in broke falsetto. In other words, the tone disassociating. That will not, unfortunately, it's too bad it won't, but it won't build your mix. So good question, Waffles for Days. Akshay, hey Chuck, have you seen the new movie Star is Born, starring Lady Gaga? No, but I want to. I think she's very, very good. And so I'm really anxious to see that. Waffles for Days. Are you? I imagine it is good. I think she's a really good singer. So you are supposed to do these exercises in chest voice until you keep the larynx down. Good question. Since started out in chest, right? If you don't start it in chest, what are you going to mix? So you've got to start it in chest. But then you have to begin narrowing that vowel. Now, is it okay to narrow early? Sure. You can enter the bridge. You can start bridging earlier or narrowing the vowel earlier so that as you're approaching the bridge, you're getting some head resonance coming in maybe a little early. It's always okay to bridge earlier, but it's not okay to bridge late, to pull up chest. So you can pull mix down. You just don't want to pull chest up. So you want to start it in chest. Then you've got to narrow the vowel so you start getting that head voice in it. Now I've got chest and head voice. Now the G is pretty much just head voice. And it's just head voice up there. But I haven't changed any. It's the same coordination as down here. Goes pretty heady there. Akshay says, okay, sorry, Waffles for Days. Are you supposed to get these exercises in chest voice? Yeah, do them in chest. When you're in chest, register, and you get to the bridge is where you have to allow that head to start mixing in. But then how do you stop from breaking into falsetto? You have to keep the larynx down. So if you are breaking in falsetto, then you can't do to You have to do it on gi. Gi, 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 gi. It has to stay hooty. Gi, gi. But if I say gi, 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 gi. So the larynx came up. So I have to keep that dopey sound. Gi, 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 gi. You hear that hooty? Gi. High larynx, low larynx. E. Falsetto. Yes, how do you stop breaking into falsetto? Okay, that's it. The larynx has to stay down. The other thing you can do is do it softer. So you're not ready to mix yet. The first thing you have to do is keep the larynx down and get through the bridge like I just did. So drop the volume, do it easy. It's got to go heady, a little bit hooty, a little hollow. Or and by doing that dopey the whole way, then I'm training the larynx to stay down. And then eventually I can say, goo, 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 no, 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 no. So if you're working on keeping the larynx, if it's still flipping and cracking and breaking, then you've got to stay focused on those original lessons, those original exercises for your vocal type. Pull chest, high larynx, or flip falsetto. Even the light chest, no chest, students will find that keeping the vocal cords together and keeping that chest voice established is going to be the anchor of the voice and help keep the larynx down. But if that's where you're at right now, that's where you're at, and you can't jump ahead and, well, I'm just going to mix, because you're just going to break and crack or strain. So you've got to focus on that first step first, which is to do those exercises for the vocal type, which will help you to bridge and keep the larynx down, and will stop the flip, crack, and the break and the straining. First step, yeah. This is and I probably should have clarified that. Mix, you don't just, at least I don't, I've never been able to, I didn't and couldn't just jump in the mix. because I was fighting the larynx myself. I couldn't sing past the E above middle C without breaking or cracking. So the long exercise, the long one's a good one too. See, I'm going into a mix there, but the larynx is down and the tone is staying connected. Okay. I'm really pushing the larynx low all the time. Yeah, and it takes some time before it's obedient. It starts to get the idea. The larynx will eventually stay down, and also you get used to the feeling of the mix. And so when you get outside that, you know what you start learning what vowel is throwing you out, and start narrowing that vowel a little bit. Akshay says, "Hey Chuck, can you show us how high you can go in your mixed?" Well, it doesn't matter really, because am I going to sing up here? And it depends on any given day, but I'm saying so that's 2 octaves up. That's the high G. Yeah, so my larynx is a little up. Because I don't have my E this morning, or this afternoon. So on a regular day, if my larynx is down, I can get a low E. So I'm a bass. So, that's the G. So that's 3 octaves today. Okay, so, but, would I use that in a song? No, I wouldn't, but, I can vocalize there, or I could do. So, that's mix, by the way. That's a mix voice. The bubble lips put you right in mix, if you're doing it right. Okay, you guys. Yeah, G6. So if I had broke or cracked, if the tone had cracked or broke, then it would have been falsetto, but that wasn't falsetto. That was mix, or that was head voice, really. I mean, once I got the G4, no, that's not G6. No, that's G5. There's C5. 6. It's G5. Right. Waffles for days. That was G5. Okay. So, but what good is it if you can't do it in a song? So, but the point is, you guys, I know it's hard to believe, but and this has been 20 years ago now, and I don't think I could have done that 20 years ago. But when I started out, I couldn't go past this. That's the E. So I have increased my range by over an octave, by learning how to do all of this. But it takes time. It takes time. Mahang Vu says, "Hello, Chuck. What kind of voice technique do male singers use when they sing extreme high notes above G5, falsetto or head voice or reinforced falsetto?" Probably all of the above. Not everybody does mix. Not everybody can do this, and so they'll break into falsetto. I don't know what reinforced falsetto is, other than just highly developed falsetto. And then there are people who do it in mix. But so I would say probably all of the above. Now let me get back up here a little bit to a couple of the questions, and then, oh my gosh, it's 9 minutes till the hour. Let me try and get a couple of these. Gino Angela Jackson, I have a major suggestion. If I put myself on vocal rest for a year, do you think I would get better? Here, I have a major suggestion. So if you have some vocal damage, then if your vocal damage has been caused by singing incorrectly, you can go on vocal rest for 5 years or 20 years or 30 years. And if you start singing again incorrectly, you'll get vocal damage again. So vocal rest will help. I don't think a year, I think a year sounds too much, but a doctor would maybe say a few weeks, maybe longer, depending on if you've had surgery or, you know, the damage, whatever it is. And so vocal rest, in many cases, can resolve the issue. You'd need to be under a doctor's care. But if you start singing incorrectly, the problem will return. So you've got to correct it. You've got to stop pulling the chest voice in order for your voice to recover and to be able to sing in the future. Greetings, Dennis says, what I was wondering, is there any technique to sing with compression? With compression. Yes, everything that I've shown you today has an element of compression. The vocal cords have to come together, and it's friendly compression. There has to be compression. It's resisting the airflow. The vocal cords are closing, and so there has to be some friendly compression. And as I sing into the mix, I have to lean on that. I'm leaning onto that with volume, which means I'm giving it more air, and the vocal cords are resisting, and so there's compression there. Now that's the way you sing with compression. How do you hold your? Okay, we talked about holding the tongue. Was there another question here that someone had that I didn't get to that I wanted to check with? Akshay says I can highest I can go to my chest is D4 when I push above the ladder, throat hurts. Okay, so we kind of covered that. Yeah, so I think I've covered about everybody's questions. Thanks, you guys. Lots of really great comments and questions. Hi, Joe. I've increased my range, but you still sing higher than that. Okay, thanks, Joe. And Jorge says I can't perform well when I'm sitting. Because I've got this really great microphone here, Jorge. That's why. Microphones always help, you know. So yeah, thank you. Okay, we've been going for an hour almost, and I hope this is going to be a benefit to not only you who've been here live, so thank you for being here and I hope I've answered your questions somewhat, and yeah, just rock the whole table there. And for those of you who are watching this with on the rebroadcast, feel free to ask the question below. I'm usually pretty good about getting back to all of the questions that are asked me or comments. So thank you very much. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing. You can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. I'll see you inside the next video. Thanks for joining me today.